Hello and welcome to Dragon Forge After Dark. We are just waiting for our second guest speaker, V and the Child, who is opening his PC. And since it's a relatively new laptop, like our wait shouldn't be that long. It should be relatively fast. Hello to our regular viewer, Eric. I hope that you will be starting the game of Big Robots with us soon. Vian, where you? Um, Dead Child, where you? Right, so while we are waiting for a dead child, we shall welcome our first special guest, Master Jeff, one of the oldest Warhammer players I know. Hello, Master Jeff.
Hello, hello.
Can you tell us a bit about your history of Warhammer that predates my birth?
Let's see. We started playing Warhammer when we were in the shooting range in Ateneo. That was a long, long time ago. Back when it was still a pelota court, or was the pelota court,
Was this still
where
martial
the
law?
no, it was a little bit past martial law, somewhere maybe 10 or so years after martial law. So
Oh, we have V and the child.
the
Hello, V
child
and the
has
child.
arrived.
Child, do you have audio?
Hello, I hear you guys. Am I cool?
Yes, child has audio.
Nice. What's up? So I came into martial law. What's the
Oh no, no,
context?
we were asking Jeff, like Master Jeff, when he started playing the
And
Hammer of War.
Okay, and oh, that's around martial law. Dang, that's
No, 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 like 10
no,
years after martial
oh,
law.
that is it. Wait a minute.
after the end, take note, after the end of martial law, okay? Not the start of martial law.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so this was around the time. This should have been around the time Vion was born.
Yes, about somewhere in the early mid
Yes,
90s.
yes,
Oh no, I
yes,
was born in the late 90s.
yes.
A little before I was born.
So, before we actually get started, Master Jeff, can you show us the cat again?
Ah, yes.
Cat.
Yes, yes. He showed me the cat before we started streaming.
Catto,
Hello,
hello,
it's a
catto.
cat.
It's like
So
burping.
the purpose of the cat is to increase our views.
That's fair. That's fair.
Yes. Anyway, welcome to our Adeptus Titanicus special, guys. This is gonna be the primer where we talk about the rules and the titans themselves. If you guys like the stream, we might do another one with the maniples and the different legios. We won't be tackling any of the advanced stuff today. It's just gonna be some basics for you guys. So let's get started. So first of all, what is Adeptus Titanicus? It's a giant robot skirmish game set during the Horus Heresy. So the Titans are gonna be smaller scale. They are not the gigantic Titans from Forge World that we know and love and cannot afford. So they're
So
gonna be
I
like heavily scaled down versions. And I hear a lot, and I've been reading a lot about it, and it seems that people consider this to be the best designed game by GW currently in the market. And after playing it and watching like a ton of bat reps, it does seem to be the case because Vian actually survived quite a few turns,
I did.
which is not normal for any game that is not this balanced.
Mm. Yep.
It's actually more similar to Warma Hordes than it is to 40k. You don't have like random charge rolls. It's I go, you go activations. And Master Jeff's favorite part, there is no pre-measuring. We have to play like we are like
His
back
age.
in the days when Vian was born.
Yes. When we had to pretend that we were just kind of looking and pointing at stuff on the screen, but in the end, we are actually just saying, my fingertip to my elbow is about 18 inches. It's a little bit three-fourths of that. So it's
Eh,
somewhere
go.
there.
Um for any new players or like young players who weren't born during martial law, um, there is actually a newbie tax that you can pay 15 points to be allowed to pre-measure
Oh, they have one of
per
those.
titan. Yeah, yeah,
For that,
we have
yeah.
that. It's in both the
It's a
Traitor
war.
Legio's book and
It's a war
the
gear of
Loyalist
some
Legio's book.
kind, right?
Yeah, it's a war
Yeah.
gear. It's the Auspex something. Yes. Obviously, Vian bought it for his Titans.
Yeah, because I'm
I
like,
did not, and I came up short in shooting one thing. But then Vian obligingly came closer into shooting range,
so
which was hilariously good.
I was recreating a JoJo scene. That's like, oh, you're coming closer.
Oh, you're approaching me.
It's really me. I can't beat the shit out of you if I get close. Unfortunately, I was the Dio in that
Yeah,
scene.
yeah,
And
yeah.
I got the shit beat
We
out
just
of me.
Samardo to the face.
I ate so much garbage after that. Wow.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Anyway, that was a pretty hilarious thing. Anyway,
for
so
you.
first we're gonna be talking about the Titan Terminal. This is actually like if there are any Warm Hordes players watching right now, this is gonna seem a bit familiar because we do have like a card where we track our stats. So it's pretty cool. It's gonna be a lot like if you're using a Warjack. So
Or we
we're
can use
gonna
the
take
app.
it piece by piece. So
But Master Jeff, the analog power get to like,
The app,
actually
man.
mess with.
It's the digital age.
okay, fine. There is an app, but like it's called
Titan
Titan
Tracker?
Terminal, I believe. But
Titan
there's
Tracker.
also one called T-Terminal, which I yeah. So it's unfortunately named. Anyway,
Actually,
so we're gonna start with this section of the terminal. You have the stats on the left. So its command value is basically its leadership. The ballistic skill is how good it is at shooting. Weapon skill is how good it is in melee. Oh, Vian died again. So the speed is just well, how fast it moves. You see there's two values there. There's the regular value and the boosted value. We'll get to that once we talk about the reactor. We have the maneuver, which is how many times you can turn in a turn. So there's also a regular value and a boosted value. We will be talking about that later. And servitor clades, which is how many servitor clades you have for repairs. Now here on the right, we have the plasma reactor and void shield track. The more you push your plasma reactor, the more pips you take, and the more dangerous it gets. Once your yeah, once your glorious plasma reactor is in the orange or in the red, bad things start to happen. Meanwhile, your void shields are here, so the void shields actually get worse the more they get damaged, and eventually they pop. And once they pop, you start taking damage to your armor. Now, there are three locations where you can get hit once you have no more void shields. There's the head, there's the body, and the legs. Generally, the body is the preferred target because it's the softest. But there can be cases where you want to go for the head or the legs, and there are
Always go for
cases
the
where you
head.
can't aim. The head is actually one of the hardest things to wound because for example, for the Reaver Titan, it takes an 11 to 13 to even glance it. Meanwhile, the body is just a 10 to 12. So we'll talk more about this once we talk about the combat phase. Um, then we have the last section, which is the weapons, and you'll be placing the weapon cards here, which do come with the either the Grandmaster Edition, the rule set, or individual card packs, or the starter set if you were lucky enough to get one. So let's talk about the game itself. We have a question: is this a campaign play game? It can be a campaign play game. There are ways to play campaigns, but it can also just be played as a random skirmish game. And there are my favorite part actually by going through the books is the random scenarios. I'd actually like to play the scenarios more than a campaign. Yeah, the scenarios are looking pretty snazzy, though they will take quite a while. Like some scenarios take like 4 hours to play.
Well,
So yeah,
Those are like essentially like their narrative games, right?
yeah, they
Those
are
scenarios.
narrative, and I love the narrative stuff in this game. There's one where a night house ambushes like Titan Legion, so it's gonna be pretty swanky. Though I don't think any, unless like all three of us like pool our knights, we won't be able to do it. Anyway, so the game is divided into phases. There's the strategy phase, the movement phase, the repair phase, the combat phase, and the end phase. It's important to note that for this game, you actually take turns activating one unit at a time. It's not like I move everything, then you move everything. It's one at a time. So, first of all, we have the start of the turn. At the start of the turn, you roll off with the d10 for priority. The person who wins the roll gets the opus. The opus is the token that looks like this big
Titan
T here
symbol.
on the side. Yeah, it's that one. There's actually a plastic token that looks like this that comes with the set, so it's pretty cool. So the player with the opus selects a Titan to activate first um every phase during the turn. So they're basically first player for the entire turn. Yeah, VN will be back. He's just doing tech support for his grandfather. Even though he's not Indian, he's doing the tech support. I do not know why. He can just send it over to India. Anyway, so strategy phase. The strategy phase is where you play your stratagems if they're played in the strategy phase, and you issue orders. You issue orders, if you remember the command value, by rolling a d10 and hoping that you don't roll lower than that. So it's usually like a 3 or 4 on a 3 or 4 plus on a d10, which is not too hard, but in our very first game, me versus VN, I rolled a 1 on my first command check on my first Titan.
Do you
And
get to choose
and
which one to start with?
yeah, which Titan to start with. So you can choose any of your Titans, then you can roll an order for it. Then you pass to your opponent, then they issue an order, then you issue an order, then they issue an order, alternating. Then, but if you fail a test, you can no longer issue any other orders. So when I fucked up and rolled a 1 during my first strategy phase on my first game, that essentially meant no more orders for the rest of the turn.
That's just for you,
So
or
just
including
just for me. Like your
others?
opponent can still like play orders until they decide they don't want to, or they already, or until they fuck up, which happens more often than it should. So what are these orders? You can choose 6 different orders. Essentially just 5, because one order you never ever ever want to give. So the first order is emergency repairs. You immediately make a repair roll as if it were the repair phase and add 1 to the results. So this is really good if your Titan is like extremely beaten up. You can have a chance to bring your shields back up online, repair critical damage, especially this, since this happens before the repair phase, and that's when the you check if the reactor is orange or red and bad things happen. So this is a very important order to do, and something that I recommend no one to ever forget. The charge order is very interesting because it lets you, well, make a charge. You basically move your full move in a straight line, and then you have to attack with a melee weapon or smash attack. Smash attack is you make an attack with your strength equal to scale, and you add 1 to the attack's characteristic per 3 inches moved. But again, you cannot pre-measure, so um, you have to be able to eyeball if you think you're gonna make the charge or not. Though you just have to be within 2 inches to be able to attack. That's melee range for most melee weapons. Um, yeah. So yeah, it has to be a straight line. Eric once asked me if sexy charges were possible, where you can just go And zigzag, zigzag to increase your distance moved. No, you cannot do that. It has to be a straight line. So the other four are pretty simple. Split fire is you can shoot at a different target during the combat phase with each weapon. You still can't split the shots of a weapon. So if your weapon has 10 shots, you still have to put all 10 shots into one target. The first fire is pretty juicy. Instead of moving, you can attack with one weapon, which is pretty cool. Hello, Vian. We are just discussing first fire, your favorite order.
Ah, yes, time to use the Ningguang ult on turn one.
Yes, Vian
It's
is,
the
actually
it's
has
the
a very.
only order worth doing.
On turn one. Well,
Ooh,
full
charge
stride.
is good.
Right.
Charge is good. Emergency repairs is good for Vian since
Because
he
I'm always
gets.
getting wrecked.
Yeah, he's always getting wrecked. Full stride is very important to get your melee titans there faster, because instead of attacking in the combat phase, you can move instead, but no pivots. It has to be straight. Or rather, it has to be in the front arc. So that's pretty cool. If your titan has no shooting weapons anyway, if you have a dual fist reaver, like who the fuck cares about like split fire or first fire? And then last one is shutdown order. It shuts your titan down, and this means you don't have to check if your reactor is in the red or the orange. So you only ever do this if your reactor is red, and probably even then, just don't do it. It's it's bad. There are things that can force you to shut down in the game, abilities, weapons, etc. But this is something you almost never want to voluntarily do. Okay, John, I love this. I love this. Hashtag Titans of Manila. Yes, I like that hashtag. We are keeping that hashtag. Okay, so the movement phase is next. So the movement phase is basically you just move a Titan within its front arc for full movement, or you can move a Titan outside its front arc, like to the side, to the back, for half movement. So you double the movement required. You can mix and match. You can like move front, then you can move a bit to the side for half. So that's something you can split your movement on. You can also pivot your Titan up to 45 degrees for each point in your maneuver characteristic, and you can also boost your movement or maneuver, which we will discuss when we get to the reactor section. So, what is this arc that you speak of, Kesh? So, if you look at this adorable little warhound that caused Via no end of grief,
That day
this
was
is
just no end of grief.
yeah, this is my warhound Titan small dog. So if you see that
Was it?
little template on the bottom, that's how you determine arcs. So anything within this is diagonal. So like that diagonal is in its front arc. So you can move within that arc, or that's also how you check if you can shoot with your weapons in the front arc. Then exactly opposite that is going to be the rear arc, and then the ones in between that are the directly opposite is going to be the rear arc, and then the ones on the side are going to be the side arcs. So that's how you determine those. The templates are pretty neat, but remember you cannot pre-measure. And if you see this straight line over here, this is actually your corridor arc, which you use for carapace weapons, which isn't on a warhound, but it's on reaver titans and bigger. So, repair phase. First of all, you check if your reactor is orange or red. Then you roll on the reactor table. I'm not going to put the reactor table up here, but suffice to say, bad things will happen. You will
I
be
can attest to
taking
that.
damage to the body. Vian can attest to that. He took damage from an orange reactor.
That was
Um,
hilariously bad.
yeah, it was hilariously bad. Having your reactor on orange or red also makes your explosions bigger if you die. Then after you check if the yabai happens, you choose a titan and you roll a number of d6 equal to your servitor clades. Then for each of those dice, you check the score and then you can do various actions. You spend them like you were playing Warhammer Quest. if you're playing Curse City or Blackstone Fortress. So each 4 plus you can use to vent your plasma. On a 5 plus, you can razor void shields that have been depleted or repair critical damage. Though note that if your voids are completely blown, you have to roll a 6 plus to get the first one back up. Yes, check if the yabai happens. There are many yabai moments in this game, and all of
There's
them are
so many
hilarious.
Yabai moments.
Yeah,
So many.
yes. There are bat reps out there on YouTube where a titan explodes, which causes another titan to explode, which causes another titan to explode, which causes another titan to explode. There are so many yabai moments in this game, and it's hilarious. So, combat phase. This is where the punchy and the shooty actually happens. First, of course, you pick a titan, then you choose a target. Then only after you have chosen a target are you allowed to measure your distance in arc. So if you're outside arc or you're outside range, you don't get to shoot. Like if you are not an ancient from the olden days of Warhammer, from before Vian was born, um, you probably have to pay the 15-point noob tax to be able to measure your distance and check your arc before you choose a target. So that's
Or you
15
can,
points.
or you can just simply fudge the first one and then measure all around and remember all the numbers.
That is technically legal, but
Yes, it is
yes,
absolutely legal. That's what
that
we
is
did in the
technically
old
legal,
days.
but it's an asshole move. Don't do it, guys.
No, it's not.
Like, don't listen to the old man.
That's
He
the
is
that's the key.
crotchety and is
Key
used
to
to
victory.
he's used to the Marcos evil. Do not listen to him.
Holy shit.
So so anyway, then you resolve each weapon individually. If it's 25% obscured, it's -1 to hit. If it's 50% obscured, it's -2 to hit. So yeah, Eric is saying memorize every pixel on the battle. Yeah.
You know, there's
Anyway.
also the act of walking around the table and the Pythagorean theorem.
Oh
Oh,
gods, yes, yes. You can actually use trig on this one.
Yes,
Yeah, if
school
you
makes
thought
high school.
trigonometry would never be useful.
It is absolutely useful
here in Adeptus Titanicus.
in winning old school Warhammer.
hmm We thought like no pre-measuring was gone. No, it's back. Welcome to Titanicus. Anyway, you use your ballistic skill if you're more than 2 inches away, and weapon skill if you're within 2 inches. So within 2 inches is melee range. So you can still shoot within 2 inches, but you use your weapon skill. And after rolling to hit, the opponent takes shield saves if they still have any shields. If there are no longer any shields, you roll on location dice and damage to see how the damage is done. We'll take a look at that in a bit. And note that you can make an aimed shot at the location of your choice. For example, if you know that the body is critically damaged, so you go like, I want to aim at the body. So I aim at the body, but that's an additional -1 to hit. Though note that you cannot aim with blast weapons.
So no
So
volcano cannons.
yes, you cannot aim with Vian's favorite, the Belicosa volcano cannon.
The Valkyrie.
Yes, the
The
fucking
one that
volcano.
can almost
That
one
was
shot
so
the
scary, man. Not almost
Porphyrion.
one shot,
The
not
Porphyrion. But hey
almost one
man, the
shot
Porphyrion
Mother de
is
la
so
Costa.
broken. It's still so broken.
No, no,
It wiped
the
out,
other
did so
Acastus
much
is even
damage.
more broken. The Forge
There's
World
another
Acastus is even.
Agastos?
Yes, it has large blast versions.
Oh god, that's disgusting.
Yeah, yeah, but it's Forge World, so yeah.
It's really, really cheesy.
Anyway, so this is how you shoot. You look at your card. So for example, let's take the Gatling Blaster. The short range is 8 inches, the long range is 24. So 24 is your max range. But if you're within um 8 inches, you have a +1 to hit, which is pretty cool. So then you look at your arc. So it's front arc. So you can shoot at anything within your front arc and 24 inches away. If you look at the Apocalypse missile launcher, it has a 360-degree arc. So shoot anyone on the table. Then you look at the number of dice. So that's 6 dice. So you roll 6 shots, 6 to hits. If you roll, for example, 4 hits, the opponent takes 4 shield saves. If they have, so here, void shields initially start at 3+, then go down to 4+, and then goes down to nothing. If they no longer have any shields up, they start to take damage. So, for example, here, uh, the strength of the let's say the Gatling blaster is 6, right? So let's say I rolled um a 4, a 5, and a 6. The 4, you add that to the strength, which is a 10. Let's say we hit the head on the location dice. So the 10 will do nothing. The um the 5 will be an 11, which will be a direct hit, which will deal 1 pip of damage. And then the next one, the 6, will be a 12, which will be another direct hit, which will be another pip of damage. If you take a devastating hit, that's 2 pips of damage. And if you take a critical hit, that's 2 pips of damage, and you advance on the critical table over here. So if your critical table, so you can take up to 4 critical damage, one, two, three, and the fourth will kill your Titan. So you don't actually have to wipe out every part of a Titan. It's actually preferred to focus on one part, especially since you actually increase your strength on the part in question, the more damage it takes. So if you see here on the fourth damage to the body, you get a +1 to your strength while damaging it. So that's pretty nice.
That's why I like warp
Oh
missiles.
God. Okay, so there's a weapon called the Warp Missile that ignores void shields. It's strength 10, and it'll just make people's like
Great critical hit. Period.
yes.
God.
Beautiful.
Unless you roll a 1, you can roll a 1.
You have to believe. You have to believe.
Vian will
That
roll
doesn't
a
work for
1.
me. Vian will roll.
Vian will
You
roll a
know,
1.
I sometimes wonder how does it that Kesh keeps getting me to play Warhammer again every time I say like, you know what, I'm done with Warhammer because I cannot win. Like not because I'm playing bad. I mean that's part of it, but like also my dice rolls just will not let
Okay,
me
you
win.
beat Y8.
When?
Like last time we played. Like when
Okay,
he
that's
when he brought a
the fallen in your
fucking
house.
fallen into my house.
Okay, that's one out of how many games I've played throughout my life.
Well, you win naman as long as you're not fighting me.
I don't. I lose to Steven, I lose to Roberts, I lose to
Okay, okay,
Matthew.
okay. Everyone but me loses to Steven, okay?
Okay, I lost to Young Matt. Uh, okay, I
People
guess that's
lose
the
to
one
young man.
game.
Okay, fine. You lost to Ming Ming.
I lost to the orcs, my scouts that got outshot by orcs.
That is true.
So I
Anyway,
just like,
the
oh,
last
that's
part of the turn is the end phase, where you just resolve any end of turn effects, usually due to critical damage. So if you look here, you have various effects that happen if you have critical damage. Like the stabilizer's damage means you have to like pivot. So it's pretty funky. And if there's nothing left to resolve, it's the next turn. So it's actually pretty simple. I thought it was gonna be more complicated than that, but it's actually easier to learn than Warhammer.
mm,
Yeah. Now, we have to talk about the reactor. So I've been talking about pushing the reactor a lot, and there's basically 4 ways to push a reactor. The first one is power to locomotors, where at the start of moving a Titan, you can push the reactor, which means you roll the reactor dice to use the boosted movement value. Power to stabilizers is using the Titan's boosted maneuver value, but you don't have to do this until you actually want to boost the maneuver. So if you the River Titan is 2-3. So if you've already pivoted twice and then you want to pivot a third time, that's when you roll. You don't have to roll it at the start. Now the voids to fall, it's when you're being shot. So you push the reactor, you roll your reactor die, and then you get to re-roll any save roll of one against one weapon.
Can you do
It's a
this multiple
separate
times?
push. Hmm? You can
Can you
use
do
them
this?
as many times as you want, but it may not be very wise to do so because
Yes,
yes, your
yes.
reactor being in the
You can,
orange or the red is bad. So
and then
the
you can
you
fail and
can
activate the machine sphere.
yes, you can fail and activate the machine spirit. Anyway, so there
That's
are
happened to me.
three result. Sorry, there are four results possible on the die. One is a blank. Basically, nothing happens. Your reactor doesn't get hot. It's pretty cool. It rarely happens. It's only happened once in our two games. The second one is you increase your reactor by one. Um, the third one is you increase your reactor by two, which is pretty scary. But the fourth one, which is Vian's favorite, is the Awaken the Machine Spirit. So what happens is
Favorite
you
asterisk.
increase by one, and then you have to roll on the Machine Spirit table, which is a random table of something weird happens. And but you have to make a command check first. If you roll Machine Spirit, make a command check. If you fail the command check, that's when you have to roll on the table. Otherwise, continue as normal. But if you do awaken the Machine Spirit, your action ends. So if you were moving, if you wanted to pivot and then you still have movement left, sucks for you, you're done. So, for example, I have 6 inches of movement. I moved 3 inches. I pivoted twice, and I wanted to pivot one more time. Then I activated the freaking machine spirit. That means my remaining 3 inches of movement are lost, and I can no longer pivot. The last one is draining, meaning that you have to push the reactor every time you fire that weapon. This is mostly volcano cannons. So the regular volcano cannon and the bellicosa will always require you to push a reactor to fire them. So sometimes you don't want to fire them, particularly if there's no opponent with like shields broken. If all their shields are up, you don't want to fire volcano cannons. Don't do it. Like it's asking for a red reactor.
Believe. You must believe.
Easy for you to say.
You
Like
didn't
third
Yeah.
one.
believe enough.
Enough.
So here's the reactor chart. So you put like one pip for one heat. Well, you start here on like the first level. Then if you take one heat, you go here. If you take two heat, you go there. And if you're in the orange, that's when bad things start to happen. And if in the red, you fucked. Essentially, Vian, you're told to believe in the Omnisaya.
I do, but
No, you don't,
it never seems to be enough.
because you believed in the wrong God.
What?
You're believing in the wrong Omnissiah.
How many Omniscias are there? Just one.
Yeah, that's right. There's only one,
And
and his
yes,
name
and
is
you're
the Void Dragon.
and you chose the wrong one.
What? I'm being gaslit here. Help!
Anyway, this is the Awakened Machine Spirit. It's a bit blurry, but the first roll is essentially like your action ends. That's it. But then there are sometimes it might make you move forward. Sometimes it makes you do a free repair roll, which is pretty snazzy. Sometimes it makes you shoot at
Sneaky.
random. So
Mm-hmm.
your
Doesn't sound
mileage
so
may
bad.
vary with.
Yeah, it doesn't
Yeah,
sound so
they're
bad.
mostly not so bad. Actually, some
Unless.
legios, particularly the Legio Furians, relies upon awakening their machine spirit because they get to choose on the table,
Now that's cheese.
which is pretty
There's
cheesy.
cheese.
Yeah, yeah.
Mm.
Um,
I gotta make one of those.
Basically, whenever they roll a blank on the machine spirit on the reactor die, they have to test if they awaken the machine spirit on a blank and on the machine spirit. So
Beautiful.
yeah,
But they got to
but then they
choose.
get to choose the effect. Yeah.
Oh,
So
that's so good.
sometimes they can get like a free shot out of it from Wrathful. So
Ooh.
it's pretty cool. Yeah. So finally, we're gonna talk about the Titans. So
We
when
like
talking about the Titans, we're gonna talk about each of the regular Titans. We're not gonna talk about the Knights yet. That's gonna be in a future episode because like there are so many Knights, and I don't want Vian to solve too hard tonight. Uh, and that means we're not talking about the Porphyrion.
yeah. You know what? Just do
Yeah.
it. I quit. I'm just here for the models now.
The best knight and the best model in the game, man.
Disgusting.
The
Actually
best
disgusting.
thing in the game. Oh, by the way, it was FAQ'd, right? You did use the FAQ on the
Yes,
portfolio.
we did use the FAQ. I used the nerfed versions.
And
Yeah,
it was
okay,
still
okay.
disgusting. He took out like 5 knights on turn 1 and hurt my warhound.
I took out 5 knights with the Porphyrion
Uh-huh.
and the Warbringer Nemesis. Okay.
Wasn't it just the Porphyrion in game
No,
one?
there was a
No, it's
Morikoi
game one.
cannon
Game
there.
one. You
Oh,
killed
game
5 knights.
one.
Game one. Game two was with the Nemesis Warbringer.
Well,
But
that's why
game
you don't leave your knights like in
In
line
the
of sight.
open. They're not supposed to be in the open. This is not regular 40k.
they were supposed to run, and then what
They're
happens?
like little
Ah,
people. They're
Kesh
the
did
little
something
people of
where
this game.
they got shook, so they lost
Yeah,
their run. They
yeah,
were
they got
supposed
Oh,
to be
shook.
behind cover.
he
Yeah, yeah,
used
yeah.
the quick
The
cannon
full
on them.
charge was it? The full run thing. But
I
I
used
forgot.
full
Yeah,
stride, but then they got shaken.
yeah, they got shaken.
Anyway, so
Yeah,
we're
yeah.
gonna talk about the Titans. So knights are gonna be a separate episode altogether because you can run an entire force of just knights. We can't promise that you will have a good time, but like since they're gonna be weak in general, unless you bring Acastus Knights, and you can only bring up to 2 Acastus Knights due to the FAQ, because people were just bringing 4
And
in every game.
legit, like the Castus Porphyrion was doing stuff like had similar damage output to a Warlord. It felt like
Yes.
With a knight.
yeah,
With a
with a knight,
cheap
with
knight.
one, with a cheap knight,
With a
with the
cheap
cost of a Warhound.
Yeah, it
So
was
you
the
know
cost of
that
the
that,
war.
that felt pretty busted, pretty busted.
It just means
Yeah,
you
that's
didn't
because
buy
you
one
have
for
to shoot it with
yourself.
the Bellicosa on turn 1.
Yeah, you think you have to throw your big giant cannon at it and
Yeah, but then
hope
it
that
goes
you
away.
if it goes away.
You almost one shot me. You were like 1 damage away from one shot.
And then it ate so much damage and didn't die. I spent
That's
what 3
because you
turns
kept
trying to
failing
kill
your
it.
rolls, Vian. How many misses did you make?
I don't know a lot. And how many armor saves did you make? A lot.
Not a lot.
You made a
Like
lot
I didn't
that day.
have to take armor save.
But you also, like, I mean, even just like all around that day, you barely
Yeah,
failed
that's
armor
true. Like
saves.
my
I,
warhounds like took 0 damage.
yeah, like I think the most was I got their shields down once,
You got
and like
1 warhound shields now.
down. Yeah, like that was
Yeah,
the extent of the damage I did that day across 2 games.
across 2 games. Yes.
Across
Oh
two
no,
games.
you killed the Porphyrion eventually.
Yeah, but you let me. You should have killed me.
Yeah,
Like
that's true.
for all intents purposes, I was dead.
That is true. I took pity.
Yeah, yeah.
So anyway, the
So
first Titan that we are gonna be talking about is the Warhound Scout Titan. It is cute and small. It is the smallest of the regular Titans. It's very fast. It's quite cheap at around 200 something points. It's just gonna play around the 225 point, 230 point range.
What's the
It's
standard pointage?
insanely maneuverable. Like even Vian was surprised at like how fast these things are.
yeah.
What's
These dudes are so fast. They
what's
like
the standard
Sonic.
pointage of a typical game?
A game is usually around 1250 to 1750.
So you can take six of them.
Yes, you can take six of them in one of those maniples that lets you just take warhounds
Wait, are they 200-ish with weapons already? I forgot.
with weapons already. Yes,
Okay, so you can bring like six, six of these.
yes.
Yeah, I gotta go
So
fast,
yeah,
boys.
it's also yeah. There are entire legios dedicated to just using warhounds. Legio Audax, allied to the World Eaters, only exclusively uses warhounds. Like they have no big titans because they lost the templates for the big titans and nobody wanted to share. So eventually they were like, "Fuck you, we're only using warhounds."
This is now
Yeah,
an artistic choice.
yes. And then they decided to put Ursus claws on them, just like the Conqueror. Yes.
Oh,
Um,
this is the Chaos Legion.
yeah. It's allied to the World Eaters. How do they siege anything? They do not siege things, Esteban. Um,
They chop.
that's Anron's job. Yeah. So these guys will just stomp and kill things. So they're but ano, so they're small, but they're not very durable. They have like two shields, which
Unless you're
takes
Kesh.
Vian like an entire game to crack, and like super crap armor. So
Unless you're
they
Kesh.
if they're unshielded and in front of a warlord titan, they die.
Oh wait.
Again,
Yeah,
because you do not believe. You must believe.
Master Jeff, their purpose in the game is literally sacrificial pawns.
Exactly. You put them in the front, then you believe.
Yeah, which I
They've
did.
accepted they have accepted their fate. They're going to die, but not yet. And
Yeah.
then not yet again. And keep going until the end of the game.
Yes, that's what happened with my warhounds.
Hmm.
I literally put them there as sacrificial bait, and none of them died.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yep, because the
Once,
Porphyrion was just
See,
yes.
it's the decoy, man. He baited you, Vian. He put a dog in front of you, and
You
you
got
ignored
baited.
the other, and you ignored the real
Yeah,
threat.
first game you ignored the Porphyrion and focused on the warhounds. That was your mistake.
yep. Oh,
You
game
see,
two, you also had the Cerastus.
Yeah, the Cerastus were also very fast. So anyway,
The
this
Cerastus are
thing can
so fast.
squadron. This thing can squadron, which is pretty cool. When you squadron, they can share their void shields if they're in base contact. So warhounds with like crappy two void shields now have four shared between two of them. Then when you squadron, you activate them at the same time, which means that you have less activations, but you can. But
two
since you're
more.
activating two at once, it's also alpha strike potential. Yeah. So when you want to do the squadron is really up to you. Your mileage may vary. In smaller games, you don't want the squadron. In bigger games, you can. There are two common builds for the Warhound Titan. First is the long range build, which is just take two turbo laser destructors and stay at max range and just snipe snipe.
Snipey, snipey.
Yes, yes, snipey snipey. The second one is the all rounder with the plasma blast gun and the Vulcan Mega Bolter. So I think this is the best time to talk about the three stages of breaking a Titan. Yes, Mr. Vian.
Hmm?
Um, remember the three stages of killing a Titan. First,
Oh
you have to
yes,
break its
the
shields. Then
shields.
you have to soften it up. Then you have to snipe the damaged areas.
Yeah.
So you want to be able to do all of those with every single Titan. You don't want a Titan that's just specialized to do one thing. So, for example, the all rounder has a plasma blast gun, which is good at stage two, softening up a target, but it cannot snipe things. It cannot aim shot into damaged areas. While the Vulcan Mega Bolter does garbage against armor, but is like the premier shield stripper in the game. So you have two stages um, taken
Covered with your.
by one Titan.
Yeah.
So generally you want to be able to do at least two stages of damage with a single Titan, and you want to be able to do three with your bigger ones. So let's go with your Reaver Titan. The Reaver Titan is the mid-sized Titan, and it can be geared for literally anything. It has so many weapon options. It's also the best Titan for melee because it's actually fast enough to get there, not as threatening as a freaking warlord with a power claw, and
Or
Two power
it's
claws.
Iconoclast
also
War
not
Master.
as low. Or the Iconoclast War
Iconoclast
Master.
War Master
Jesus Christ,
Titan.
that guy. That guy is
The
just that thing is a not just a distraction Carnifex. That's a distraction.
War Master.
Yes, Jesus thing, Jesus
The
Christ, that thing.
Distraction
So
War Master. That Master Jeff is holding up right now.
yes, yes, it's around 6,000 pesos. Please buy one. Anyway,
Is it the Pixel?
so it has more
Yes, two.
shields. It has four shields than the Warhound, but its armor is not much better than the Warhound. So once the shields are gone, it will die almost as fast as the Warhound. Not quite as fast, but almost as fast. Um, the Carapace weapons can't shoot things within 8 inches unless they are the same scale or higher. This is true for everything on a Carapace. If it's on the roof, it can't shoot anything lower than your scale. So a Reaver cannot shoot with its Apocalypse missile launcher, for example, at the Warhound within 8 inches. For a Warlord, it's within 10, and for a War Master, it's within 12. So here's some common builds. Uh, this is the one I convinced Vian to do, the One Punch Man. You put a Power Claw, you put a Chain Fist, and you put literally anything on top, and then you full stride it all the way forward, and your opponent panics. So
Unless you
this is
fail the push the reactor roll and awaken the
yes.
machine spirit and it stays in place on turn one.
It stays in place on turn one, and
That's
then it
why you
gets
Like,
have
exploded.
two of them. You gotta have two of them, man. That's
you gotta
called
have two of them.
redundancy.
Yes,
The redundancy is a plan. But here's my One Punch Man Titan. This is Utao from Legio Morax.
yeah. You have to replace the spear pa.
Yeah, yeah, I know. The
You gotta
It's
turn it
not yet
into
the
the
staff of
staff of
Homa.
Homa.
Yep.
Yes.
Yes, that's a
Yeah,
Genshin
she
reference
will
for
not kill things until she has the staff of
the
Homa.
staff of
I can
Homa.
attest to that. Staff of Homa is so good. Anyway, so that's basically a distraction Carnifex on its own. If you see a Titan with like two melee weapons on the board, and you're gonna be tempted to ignore it since it's not gonna shoot at you. You're gonna be tempted to ignore it, but if it touches you, you are dead. You're a war. It doesn't matter. You're a warlord Titan. You're dead.
Avian,
Um,
Yeah,
if you really want to go with the dual melee weapon thing,
yeah.
change your carapace weapon. Use a warp missile. You know you want to.
I'm trying to be a good person here, Master
A
Jeff. You don't be a
vortex
mob.
or a vortex missile. Use
I'm
a
trying to
vortex missile.
I'm trying to be the good in the world.
okay. The next one is the all rounder. This is what you get from the basic box that you get from the starter set. Um, So it has a Gatling blaster, a turbo laser destructor, and apocalypse missile launcher. The apocalypse missile launcher is good for breaking shields and nothing else. The Gatling blaster is good at sniping things that are already damaged, and so is the laser destructor. So that's also two stages, but it can also do some breaking of armor in a pinch. So the next one is the menacing one. So basically, it's a Melta Cannon and a Titan Chain Fist and anything on top. So this is the one that comes in the Reaver Titan with the Melta Cannon and Chain Fist box, and it's pretty scary. Basically, you have a Melta Cannon, and the Melta Cannon is so dumb because if you're within Melta range, which is short range, you roll a D10 instead of a D6 on damage.
Ooh.
It's so juicy. It's so fucking juicy. And
Juicy.
then
That's why you
anything
take
that
two of
survives
them.
that You snipe it with your carapace weapon, or you punch it with your chain fist, because aiming with your melee weapons is free. You don't have
Did
to take the -1.
Did you know that in back in the day, the carapace weapon could be any reaver weapon?
Yes.
Is that
You could have
still?
put.
Luckily, it is no
It's
longer
not
that.
a thing anymore. You
Yes.
can no longer put a melta cannon on the top of on the carapace.
Yeah.
Um,
Oh, an important note: if you're doing a one punch man, do not make dual power claws. The power claw has a rule called concussive, which means that you can actually push the enemy back when you're punching him, which makes him out of range for your second fist. So you want a chain fist and a power claw, so that you use your chain fist first and then your power claw. So that's very important. Never do dual power claw. Make one power claw and one chain fist. Now, the Venator sniper is one that you have to bring in Venator light maniple, which uh, which is minimum one Reaver and two Warhounds. And what it does is essentially, if the Warhounds break the enemy shields, the Reaver gets to make a free shot. So in order to make use of that, you take a Melta cannon and you take a Volcano cannon. Then you take an Apocalypse missile launcher just for fun.
You can only do it.
So
You can only drop. You can use the same weapon again, right? Like you can
yes.
fire the melta cannon twice if you really wanted to. So what?
Um no, no, no. You can only fire each weapon once.
But isn't that particular rule
Oh,
outside of
for
the
the
scope of
Venator. Yeah, yeah, the
Yeah.
Venator is a free shot with any weapon.
Mm-hmm.
So if
So take
for
two melta
example your
cannons.
Warhounds break like two things, you can essentially fire your Volcano cannon thrice.
But any given turn, a warhound can only a titan can only lose its shields once in a given turn,
Yes,
right?
that is correct.
Okay.
So it can only get Venatored once.
Mm.
Yeah. But that can also happen during the first fire stage. So
so
if you
four
break
reaver
shields
shots.
during the first strike, you can essentially fuck something over even before the combat phase. So that's the thing that can
Alpha
happen. The
Alpha
yeah,
strike
Venator Light
rules,
Maniple
man.
is pretty cool. So we'll talk about the Venator when we talk about maniples in a separate episode. Not probably next week. We can do next week. So the Warbringer Nemesis Titan. Now, this is Master Jeff's Warbringer Nemesis is called Bigus Dicus for obvious reasons. Look at that huge, chunky thing on its back. Yeah,
Mine is
Girthy.
chunk. Mine is girthier. Oops, wrong way. Mine
yeah.
is
Master
girthier.
Jeff actually has a volcano cannon on his. Sorry, a
Oh, you.
Bellicosa volcano cannon from Forge World on his.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. So anyway, it's slightly bigger than a Reaver, but with a Warlord gun on top. So it's either the Mori Quake Cannon or the Bellicosa Volcano Cannon. So one of the two must bring weapons for the long range Warlord Titan, which is Vian's favorite. So
Oh my
it
god, Kesh. What if
so
I
bringing
get?
volcano cannons on this is actually okay because it has the reactor capacity to take it, and it has more servitor clades than the Reaver. What
Reaver?
was that, child?
I was about to say is that what if I get a Nemesis Warbringer and then I swap out its fancy Mori on Ganyu and then Ganyu's volcano goes on this guy?
Pwede.
You could.
Oh,
Pwede.
dang
You
it!
can
I'm
easily
boodling
model it.
myself on stream.
Yes, you're
You could
boodling yourself on stream.
Okay, these guys are surprisingly tanky. They have like what
They
six
are
shields?
surprising. Yeah, they have six
They
shields.
have
They have
six
better armor than
shields.
a Reaver. They have like
There's
many servitor clades. They have as many servitor clades as a warlord.
Lord.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
they have a pretty wide reactor track. So
just chill in the
they're
back
super
line
good. Yeah. They chill on the
and
back line and they shoot. But if you bring it to melee, they die.
Well, I mean that's what your other titles are for, like
Yes,
to body
exactly.
block for these guys. These
So
are your
yeah,
big Acastus Porphyrions.
yes, these are
It's
your big
also
Augustus.
there. These things are also there if you really want to carry another warlord weapon without having to buy a warlord.
Mm, yep.
Yeah, but note that if you do have the points to spare, why not bring a warlord? It it has three warlord weapons instead of one.
In case you're
But
short.
in some cases, you actually want a warbringer nemesis, particularly depending on which maniple you're bringing. We'll talk
Mm.
about maniples in like episode 2, I guess. So
Yeah,
if you guys are
maniples
free next
are a
week, let's
real
do
thing.
that. Yeah, I can talk about every single maniple and like every single legio.
Good, you've read it all. That means I don't have to read it myself.
Yes, I have read everything. I have watched every video on the internet. I have absorbed all the knowledge.
Mhm.
So
Yep.
you
Read.
only have to watch one stream. So all right.
Two
So
episode one
the
and two.
yes, episodes 1 and 2. Yes.
Yes,
Because all
yes.
good trilogies come in twos. Just kidding.
Wait a minute.
Because
So
the second movie is in two parts.
It's 2 and 2.2.5.
Because
point
there's
five.
going to be one for the loyalists and then one for
The
the
heretics.
traitors.
That's actually not a bad idea.
No, no, I'll make a third episode for knights.
Ah, yeah, there you go. There you go.
Ah,
Yeah, right, right. So
yeah,
it's gonna
yeah.
be episode 1 is the primer, episode 2 is
The
Man,
warlord,
the
the
maniples and the legios,
maniples.
and then the third is gonna be
it's the
knights. All
ninth.
right, yeah, that's what we're doing. That's what we're
So I,
doing.
I know I know I need to skip number three or else we'll just get like sea salt shower, free raffle of like box
No,
of
you
kosher
have to
salt.
come so that we can talk about the dominos.
Oh, the another one
I know you
with
love the
my meat,
dominos.
the meat shield,
Yes,
the meat shield millilith.
yes. So
Yes,
one
yes,
thing about
yes.
this is carapace weapons can be hard to manage for new players, unless you take the carapace weapon tax, because the carapace weapons only let you fire in small corridor arc instead of the full front arc. So you can pay 25 points to make it front arc,
Worth it.
but sometimes you won't be able to fit that in. So it may be a bit difficult for new players. Now, two main loadouts. First is the out of the box one, which is the Mori Quake Cannon, the Laser Blaster, and the Volcano Cannon, which does everything but break void shields. So the Mori Quake Cannon is basically your anti-knight weapon. It can also shake titans and make them spinny spin, and it can also push them back. The Laser Blaster is good at sniping things, and it can be an anti shield weapon in a pinch, since you can push a reactor to give it shield bane, which makes your opponent -1 shields. And it also has a volcano cannon, which is the baby version of the Bellicosa. And then there's the what I like to call the AF Yala version. It's a Bellicosa with two volcano cannons.
Rip your reactor though, but who cares, right?
Rip your reactor, but you have the reactor capacity for it. You have the reactor capacity for it. Yeah. Then you just buy that upgrade
So generally,
that
what you'll need to do is buy the Reaver upgrade sprue with all the other weapons,
no
so
no
that you
you just
can.
buy another Reaver.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you
because you
can.
need more Reavers. Reavers are actually
How many
pretty
weapons does
important because they're
the Reavers have?
the
How many
hmm?
weapons in it? How many
The
weapons does comes in the
um
box?
the first one came with
the first one has the
Gatling,
Gatling, the
laser
laser,
blaster,
and
fist.
the power claw, power
Oh,
fist. Yeah.
yeah, power
Then
fist.
the second one has the melta cannon,
Melta, volcano.
the volcano cannon, and the chain fist.
Yep. They
Mm,
both
okay,
So
have
if you're
okay.
building chain fist and melta cannon, you have a spare volcano cannon to make Eyafyala.
Okay, all right.
Yes, yes.
if you buy a bajillion reavers though, it's no problem.
Yeah, if you buy a bajillion reavers, no problem. I eventually want 5 reavers to do a corsair.
It seems like the Reavers is the critical one that you should be buying
Yeah,
lots of.
the
Yeah.
Reaver is required in almost every maniple. So the Reavers are gonna be your limiting reagent, so to speak,
Mm. They're also
which
the
we will talk
oldest
about in
Titan
maniples.
pattern.
Hmm?
Fun tidbit is the Reaver Titan is the oldest Titan pattern, big Titan
Yes, yes.
pattern.
The Reaver Titan is the oldest of all the Titan patterns. That's why it looks funkier than the rest. Right. So next is the Warlord Battle Titan, the OG big boy and Vian's absolute favorite. Yes.
Mhm.
So this big boy is insanely durable with wicked firepower, but it's also slow as all fuck.
It's okay. You're just there
Uh
to shoot things.
yeah, it's just there to shoot. No, if you're doing a brawler that has to get close, you can't rely on everyone being an idiot and like marching into your range.
That's okay. We're just here to engage in long range jihad.
You know what my original Warlord configuration was before it became illegal?
What?
Was
What?
two Carapace warp missiles, one arm warp missile, and one arm fist. Fire
Yeah, that's
everything, turn
totally
one,
illegal.
and charge with
How?
Yep,
your
How's
that's
Warlord.
that legal?
always been illegal.
No, it's
That's
something from
never
Epic.
been legal, Master Jeff.
It's
That
never
that
been legal in Titanicus, but it was legal in Epic.
in Epic?
Yeah, but
Oh my
In
god.
Epic,
Vian
yeah.
wasn't born then. So
You weren't born yet. This predates your time.
The dark age of technology.
I was
Yes,
a
yes.
literal child, Master Jeff. I was like what, 5 years old?
It
The
was a
only big
beautiful
robots I
time.
was playing with were Power Rangers Zords.
I
So
miss those days.
yeah, you see that power claw over there? That power claw? Like that is the strongest melee weapon in the game before they came out with the Iconoclast. That thing can kill a War Master if you charge it.
It has
I have
guns on it,
seen a
right?
bat rep with a War Master dying to an Ariok power claw.
Can a Reaver take down a War Master with?
I don't theoretically puede, pero
You've never seen it happen.
practically probably a couple of turns.
Mm-hmm.
It's not
Yeah,
going to be a
or if yeah, and it
one
has to
turn
be like
thing.
out of front arc, otherwise it will die.
You have
Oh,
to sneak up
It
on it
it will
then.
yeah. It has you have to sneak up on it. Like you can't like take it from the front.
mm.
And yeah, it is gonna be very expensive. It's like it's like 300 to 400 points depending on your loadout. So you have to plan around it. There are some legios and some maniples that like bringing three of them, which we'll talk about in episode 2.
So to
But
preview
yeah,
time.
you're gonna be one. You're gonna want to be careful about spamming these guys because they are very expensive and they will limit your activations. So if you're not careful, you have this big scary guy that's out of arc to all the super maneuverable warhounds and Sarasus Knights. Now there are two basic builds. Um, literally everyone subscribes to these two basic builds unless you're taking a claw. The first is the fire support, which is a Mori Quake cannon, a Bellicosa volcano cannon, and an Apocalypse missile launcher for breaking shields. So this is really good long range jihad, as Vian stated earlier. The Mori Quake cannon does not require you to push a reactor. Um, and the Apocalypse missile launchers are extremely good at breaking shields.
Shields.
Vian has like
Mm,
this really
You
cheesy
don't
thing
you don't need
where he
line of
can
sight, right?
fire 30. You
What?
do need line of sight.
Mm.
No,
You don't
Apocalypse
need line
doesn't.
of.
It has barrage.
Oh, right, right. This is barrage. If a weapon has barrage, it doesn't need line of sight, but
The other
the
things do.
scatter is gonna be horrendous. Yeah,
No, but
Again,
Apocalypse missile
bel
launcher is just 13,
believe.
15 dice or something.
Why is everyone scared of scatter? Back then it was
because VN keeps getting fucked by scatter.
you because you don't believe, man. You have to believe.
VN, why you
You
no
know,
believe?
I
hit.
believe.
You must believe that the dice is nothing but hit, and it will hit.
I plan it like that, and then in reality, there's like nope. Fuck you, Vian. I was like, no, I
Because
believed you would hit.
you did not believe enough.
And
Again, you did not believe enough.
oh, man, I'm so
Kulang
tired of
ka
hearing
sa
that.
pananampalataya. And the second one is the mid-ranged brawler. Um, this loadout is the maximum range for this loadout is 24 inches. So you have macro Gatling blasters on the top. Sorry, you have a macro Gatling blaster on your left hand. You have a Sun Fury on your right. Sun Fury Plasma Annihilator on your right, and pair Gatling blasters on the roof. So it's gonna absolutely obliterate shields. It's gonna wreck titans, and it can snipe
Armor.
them. Yeah, the problem is you can only shoot at things within 24 inches, which is very hard when the warlord is so slow, which I found out. And it would have done nothing for 2 turns if Vian didn't
Walk
approach
into it.
me.
Yeah.
Vian literally
This
walked
is
in
what
there. Did you just walk into the range of my warlord?
I'm like, I did. This is where the noob tax came in, where I did not pre-measure, where I'm not allowed to pre-measure, and I'm like,
Thi-
oh,
This
I
is
just walked.
where you have to memorize what 2 feet looks like.
Like, yep, yep, that's what it is. That's what it is.
He's like, fuck.
I was
Yeah,
like,
it took down his
oh,
shields, and it
cripple the
dealt
legs.
like, yeah, it crippled it like what, 2 critical damage again?
Structural, yeah, it went to do structure
Yeah,
again. Yep,
yeah, it
yep,
was so crazy.
yep.
You know what? You know what's weird? 24 inches is actually it's like a vindicator in 40K. And
Yeah,
when you think about it, you just think of your warlord like a vindicator,
a very very slow vindicator.
not like vindicators were fast to begin with.
They're
Oh, the
not
your
four
Iron
inches
Hands
slow, okay?
in 30K.
Not your Iron Hands in 30K.
And you have three of them outflanking. Oh yeah!
Yeah, Vian's a piece of shit.
Like, Kesh is the worst piece of shit. Yeah.
Wow.
Remember your Mister What's his name that does the auto scatter if you target him or within
I
12 or
should,
some shit.
I really should
What's
take
his
that
name?
Only
Very
if
title
you
few.
away.
scatter within him.
Once I start using my vortex missiles, I shall claim that title.
The piece of
Okay,
shit.
no one play against Master Jeff. He will cheese you.
Yeah, if you play
You
against Master Jeff, you should agree to like you should be up 500 points or something.
no,
No,
you
not
must
even. Like,
A
the
thousand
vortex
points.
missiles should be limited. Like to a you
they,
can only take like one
they are limited. You can only take one per
per
titan.
Titan.
I'll take 5 of them. I'll take 5 of those
See,
titans.
like
So
seriously.
5.
There are few broken things in this game, and they are the vortex missiles and the fucking Acastus.
Yep.
Don't forget the side titan. Just because you haven't
The
seen it
Psi
in action.
Titan is not as broken as it seems because it's 700 something points. Yeah.
How much does a
Yeah,
warp missile
that's
cost?
the problem. It's worth 2 warlords.
Nothing is as broken
So
as warp missiles and Agastos Porphyrions.
You know,
yeah, it's not as broken because it's so
I'm
expensive.
tempted to
It's like
make that
bringing
list.
Nagash.
You know, all this talk about the warp missiles and the Acastus makes me want to make an entire list around them.
See, this
Just
is
the
why we
cheese.
don't play with Master Jeff.
The, Master Jeff wins the painting competitions, but not the games because he's banned from the
Yes.
games.
Yes, he's banned from the games, but he will win the painting competition.
Because to be fair, Master Jeff's work is really amazing and
It
good.
is really nice, which we will see later.
Mm-hmm.
So we're done with the Warlord. We're not gonna be talking about the Psi Titan or the Corrupted Titan since they are like advanced na. That's
Is
for a future
the
episode.
War Master's in here or not yet?
The War Master is here.
And
Oh
it's
So the
ho!
next.
War Master Heavy Battle Titan
Oh
and the
yeah,
War Master Iconoclast Heavy Battle Titan
the big
are the big
boys,
boys of
the
Big
new big
Titanicus.
boys.
boys.
They are the new big boys. They're also expensive as all fuck, both in pesos and in pointses.
Points.
So they're so tough. They have so many shields. Their armor is so good that's like super good luck killing one outside of melee or like a ton of bellicosas. Seriously. If you know you're fighting one, you bring melee titans and like flank it. You don't like take it head on because like those plasmas are gonna destroy you, or the iconoclast is just gonna chainsword you to death. But since it's so expensive, over 1,000 points. It's worth 3 warlords, so it's very restrictive for list building. The basic war master is mid range. It's a mid range monster. It's not actually a long range monster. Well, the iconoclast will destroy you in melee if it ever gets there. You have two variants of this. There's the regular War Master with the double plasma destructors, which we saw in the first picture, and then we have the War Master Iconoclast, which has the Desolator Chain Sword, which I still don't know how that works because he put a guard on the front of the chain sword. So if
And it's more
anyone knows,
chainsword underneath it, right?
yeah, there's more chain sword underneath it. So I'm not sure how that's supposed to work. So if anyone can read the minds of the design team or can explain
It,
to me how that works.
it's
The
called a
rule of
hook,
cool.
man. It's a hook. It
Yes,
grabs
yes,
on
but
and then it just keeps on grinding and keeps on grinding. Can't run away. Can't move away. Keep on grinding. Keep on grinding.
it's so dumb. And
It
heads up,
works.
I
If
just
it works, it's
discovered
not dumb.
that the Desolator Chainsword has a range of 4 inches, not two. You can melee from 4 inches away, and it will ignore
Oh,
shield. Yes.
oh,
So
oh, that's nice.
if you have the measuring gods, the eye measuring gods on your side, and you
You
stop
know, I might
4 inches
actually
away,
want to make this first
you
versus
should.
the
For
other one.
fun.
No, because
Yeah.
I
Dude,
do want to make a melee type Titan list, which is really don't shoot that much. Just keep on going forward and just keep on going forward. You know, if
Just
you
keep
want to learn
swinging.
the if you want to learn the game, you take out one of the systems of the game, and it'll make it easier for you to actually just focus on that one system. Of course, you're gonna lose, probably gonna lose a lot, get shot to death a number of times, but you will get to learn how to use it once you get in there.
Yeah, but War Master is almost never gonna be shot to death. It just has too many shields.
how many shields does it have? 12?
I'm not sure. Let's check. War Master Titan
Hey, Vian, how
uh
about
Yeah.
two of them?
shields.
That's how many points? 3,000 points?
No, it's 2,000 points. A 2,000 point list, two of them. Easy enough to paint up, and then easy enough to play. Just move
Just like
forward, forward. Just take the
minute.
damage, take the damage, forward some
Order
more,
order phase. One is gonna
Okay,
charge
I'm
and the
looking at the
other is going to
terminal.
first fire.
One, two, three,
and
four,
alternate.
5, 6.
Yeah?
It
Yeah.
has 6 voids.
Wait, only 6 points?
Yeah, but the 3+ is up to 3. So
Oh.
sorry, up to 4? Yeah, up to 4.
So it
Jesus.
takes so it's almost 3+ forever until you
Yeah.
get to need the last two.
Yep.
Oh wow.
It also
Okay.
has a bigger terminal than any other Titan.
It as you said, right? Like the physical version of it is two terminals.
Yeah, the physical version of it is 2 terminals. Yeah.
So it's like this is what one terminal looks like for in person.
Yes.
There's what a night one looks like,
It's
and then
half, about
apparently the
half.
War Master comes with something that's two of these.
You know, I
Maybe.
have a funny feeling that the table real estate that this game eats up, half of which is the terminals.
It
It's
is.
not
Half of it is
it's
the
not
terminals.
it's not the game area, but the terminals themselves that eat up
We
a lot of
actually had a
space.
separate table for VN's terminals, and I was
Hmm.
using an iPad. because I only got my terminals in today. Anyway, the
Kesh was using
iconoclast is,
the future technology and the cell phone.
yes, I'm using
The
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 future because I didn't have the old school. But now that I do, I will be using them. So,
Mm-hmm.
because
It is
honestly, the
cool.
terminals are my favorite part of this game. It's just so cool. Like you're tracking the damage like on these
And you
little
have like all the
marker.
pips and stuff. I mean,
Yes, I know it's so cool. Um, an important thing to note is that a War Master Titan needs 5 critical damage to die, not 4. It
wow.
has like it has a square on its damage table, not a
a triangle.
triangle. Yes.
So you have all
So the
these triangles.
Iconoclast also has 2 options on its other arm. The Krios Grav Imploder if you want a bit of range, or if you just want another melee weapon for some stupid reason, you
There's
can take the
nothing
Siege
stupid
Shield.
with having two melee weapons.
It is
It's
when one of them is
beautiful.
already overkill.
No, it is if you're VN because you know the first one's gonna miss.
That is very true. Okay, Via needs to take 2 melee weapons.
Like this is like asterisk unless you're VN.
Unless you're Vian. Okay, we're gonna start putting that disclaimer from now on.
Unless you're VN.
All right,
Oh,
there's
that's
Oh,
the
there it is.
terminal.
It's so big.
Oh, that's cool. Damn. How many shields does it have, Master Jeff? Is it actually six?
It's six. It's six.
1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, 6.
Six.
Yep.
But
The
it's three
last one
plus
doesn't count, right? So it's like yeah,
Yeah, the last
6.
one is just no shields.
no shields. What are the carapace weapons actually? I forgot. Like, what does it
Um
have?
It's got that rocket
the
thing or
carapace
that Gatling
weapons are
thing.
basically just
The
warhound
same?
weapons.
Is it the same for both the
So you can
iconoclast
take
and
you can take plasma blast guns, you can take
Oh, but take note that the plasma blast gun of the War Master has a different stat than
yes,
the.
it has a +1 to hit when it's long range, right?
oh,
Yep,
but it's still
yep.
blast, right?
Yeah, it's
It's
still
still
blast.
actual. It's still like baby blast.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
that's
an important
interesting.
thing to note, on the location dice, when you're rolling the location dice, there's a thing there called special. Normally, when you roll special, you just shunt the hit to the body because nothing except the War Master has a special slot, which is a special weapon. Yeah,
Okay.
so we know that they've been planning to bring this out because even in the dice release at the start of the game, they already had the special slot. So
Oh,
I think they
yeah.
just made it as a catch-all. So
Hmm.
anytime they have a new Titan and they want to give something juicy for it.
Special.
special.
Yes. Anyway, so that's the last of our Titans. So now we're gonna go to this part that I'm very excited about. Yeah, there are baby knights, which are gonna be for a future episode. Vian likes using these ones, which are these babies. He
The
uses them as weak
Questores.
shield.
The
These
Milile.
are the Cerastus. They move 12 freaking inches and are super fast.
They're so fast.
And these are Vian's favorite thing in the game, the
To
Acastus
hate.
Knights.
Favorite thing to hate. It's just like
So baby knights are gonna be a separate episode. Uh, Probably next week. Are you guys free next week?
Sure.
no,
No.
no, I am not.
Oh gosh. On the 18th?
Yeah, I am not.
Oh no, the child is gone. So Master Jeff, let's do knights first.
Yeah,
While
you
Vian is
guys talk
gone.
about nights.
Yeah, let's do knights first.
Mr. Jeff, why don't you show off your actual like big your 40k scale nights?
Oh, it's there. There's a picture
Yeah,
of
yeah,
it.
yeah. There's a comparison photo here.
Oh
So
yeah, oh yeah, I
now
your
saw
we're gonna
this.
get to the
of your favorite.
yes. So we're gonna
Yeah,
go to my favorite part of this segment, which is um showing people everyone's titans, and a lot more people had titans than we were expecting, so we have a lot more to showcase than normal. So let's start with Master Jeff's Legio Ignatum. So these guys are the ones guarding the golden throne on Terra, and they are also the only one of the um The big three Titan legions, the Triad Ferrum Morgulis that remained completely loyal because the Legio Mortis went full TR8R and the Tempestus went split. So, these are Master Jeff's Warhounds. Child, look at the doggos. These are
Yeah, I
magnetized,
mean,
right,
Hesed, look
Master
at the
Jeff?
stripes. Hmm? Yes. Hmm?
Oh yes, Hesed, look at the stripes. Hesed refusing to paint stripes.
Master Jeff's calling you a coward on stream. Are you gonna let that
Yeah,
slide,
Hesed,
Hesed?
you're a coward.
Stripes, man. You gotta have stripes on your Titan.
Or checkers?
Yeah. Or
Or
checkers.
checker. No, no, checkers are just plain stupid, man. Stripes are the way to go.
Yo.
Yo.
You know what your hazard stripes look like? Iron
Hmm.
Warriors.
Oh, Master Jeff's a traitor. I see.
Yeah,
Calling
Master
me
Okay.
a
Jeff's a
calling me a
traitor.
traitor, huh? No,
Yeah.
I call them thieves, man. They're just copycats, man. This is the original. Yeah, this
Traitors.
came way before the Iron Warriors.
Traitor. Something a traitor
Traitor.
would say. Sounds
So
like something a
anyway,
heretic would say.
these things are magnetized, right, Master Jeff?
Yeah, the weapons are magnetized, the torso is magnetized, the head is magnetized, everything is magnetized.
Yeah.
How do
Why?
you
It's
magnetize
So
all
the
for
heads?
storage.
yeah, a funny thing about Titanicus is that a lot of the Titans are actually designed to be magnetized,
Yeah,
particularly the Warlords. The Warlords actually have slots for 1 by 5 mm magnets, like
designers
perfectly built into the model.
explicitly mentioned that they built it for that. The
Yeah.
this dude, where's that? This dude, yeah, there we go. He has a slot that can actually fit a 10 millimeter magnet on top.
Yeah.
It,
Whoa.
And it's
these
actually
arm
only the
things.
Reaver. It's just the Reaver that's the hardest to magnetize because
Hmm.
it doesn't have built-in slots.
It's because its arm design is different compared to the other
Yeah,
ones.
it's really weird. It has like ball joints here in the
Hmm.
shoulder and like
The
flats
flat.
on the yeah. So it's
Wouldn't it be
actually pretty
easier
hard
to
to
put
magnetize.
the magnets in the flats then instead?
Well,
Yeah,
what
but
I ended
if
up
you
doing
want to
was
be able
chopping
to
them.
change into the melee weapons, you have to put magnets on the shoulder as well.
Yeah,
Ah,
because
right.
it's got a different mount
Hmm.
for
For
the
the melee
melee
weapon.
weapons.
Right. You know, just have one permanent melee titan. It's like,
Yeah,
if you're burning
chances
this much
are
money anyway, just burn more money and have one
because
That is
ch-
true.
per
That is true.
because chances are
Save the
you're
10
going to
pesos
use
you're
it
gonna spend on magnets and just buy another Titan.
just buy another titan.
because
Add to the
you
pile
want
of
to have
station.
you want to have at least five. So
That's true.
you
You do want to have like at least 5 Reavers to do a Corsair.
Yeah, so I mean, just
in
like
which case
uh,
out of the five, one of them is going to be a dedicated
One Punch Man. Yeah,
One
one
Punch Man, yeah.
one punch
At least
reaver.
one of them is gonna
at
be a
least
Least
One
one.
Punch.
you can have two One Punch Men.
Yeah, Vian's gonna have
You
two,
know,
right? You're gonna have two,
it's the
right?
Well,
one.
no,
It's the
they have two.
1-2
No,
punch, man.
Yeah,
It's
you're
the
gonna have
1-2
Shao.
punch.
no, I'm not Wing Shao. This is Hu Tao. The other one is Xin Yan. The other one is Yan Fei.
Oh, right. You're not doing Shao anymore.
If I get the fourth one, I can consider making Shao. But as
Shao.
it stands, it's Yan Fei and Hu Tao and Xin Yan.
Chinyan. Okay.
Xin Yan.
Now, um, taking a look at this Reaver. Yeah, I like this Reaver. So
I don't like
it's
it
the
because the carapace weapon should be a warp missile.
no.
So wait. So the
Yes,
warp missile is like just like what one actual giant ass
it's
missile.
a
Yeah,
giant
it's
ass
Forge
missile.
World and it's one giant ass missile.
It's a one-shot weapon.
Ah, I see.
See, it's not broken. It's just one shot
Okay, the warp missiles are not broken, but when you upgrade it with Vortex, that's when it becomes broken.
because it can
Like
stay.
I will happily fight a 5 warp missile list, but I refuse to touch a 5 vortex missile list.
You do realize the
Mm.
5 warp missile list can potentially take out any single Titan in one go,
Indeed,
assuming
but
all of
then
them.
you no longer have carapace weapons for the rest of the
That's
game, so it's
who
okay.
ca- who cares? That's one big Titan gone. That's Like half
That's
his
your War
army
Master
gone.
down.
Now
That's
you
the War
see, it
Master
it
gone.
it doesn't matter if your Legio can't have War Masters,
Well, there's that.
Ah,
which is mine. By
so
fluff,
it's
I
like
cannot have War Masters.
unless
How
you're
many
Kesh.
points is the Warlord? It's like 300, right? The Warlord is 300 thereabout.
So it's like 50 points times 650. You're paying like a Warhound's worth for the full Vortex missile list.
I'll take that.
You
I'll
can kill
take
a
that.
See, that's
warlord.
totally unfair.
That is like that's a
That's unfair.
gambler's list, man. That's a gambler's list.
It's for the believers.
It's not
Yes.
really
For,
gambling because the
it's
template
for people.
stays there and scatters all over every turn.
No, no, it can disappear.
It can disappear, but more likely it's not going to disappear.
It's more
And it might
likely.
scatter in the wrong place. It's it's the
Not
same
if you play a
problem.
long range jihad list.
Well, there's that. If
It
that's
doesn't
the
matter.
thing. If you it just changes the way people play, because if people know that that kind of list exists, they're not gonna do the clump together and
If people
let's
know that
go.
kind of list exists, they're not gonna play the game.
They're gonna be like, oh, this is the de facto best list. So if you're not playing it, you're a chump. I was like, I guess
Like
I won't play then.
it's straight up. No one plays the list because no one is as much of an asshole as Master Jeff.
I just want to see them cry when they see what happens to them.
Okay, Master Jeff. Vian will play with the list once.
Mhm.
What? I didn't agree to this.
You're gonna lose anyway, so might as well lose faster.
It's called for science, man. It's for
Okay, fine,
science.
fine. So everyone watching the stream, I'm taking this one for the team.
All right.
You're
Better
doing it
thank
for
me.
You're doing it for science. For science.
I will be the sacrificial lamb on Mount Jacob. It's like do what you want.
Vian is gonna die for her sins.
I'm gonna die and I'm gonna resurrect in 3 days. I'm just gonna like straight up lose so hard and just like fuck this and disappear for like
Yeah,
three
you're gonna
days.
lose turn one, and then we can just play another game.
Oh yeah, there's that
Yeah,
too.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So, what's the next Titan? Oh, a Warlord with
Oh my
eight
Oh, no.
Bellicosas.
yes.
Notice the lots of stripes. More stripes.
Yes, just like an Iron Warrior.
It's
Looks like a
red.
traitor.
It's red. There are no red Iron Warriors.
Iron Warriors dedicated to corn.
Hello, Douglas Camp.
Oh
Oh,
no, it's an
hello,
animal.
doggo.
It's an
Okay,
Doggo.
animal.
bring out the cat. Bring out the cat. Bring out the
Bring
cat.
out the cat. Bring out
Cat
the
is
cat.
not
Cat.
in the general vicinity.
Dang it.
Oh, poor Kato. Perpy, say hi. You're on stream.
Hey, hey, Vian,
Hello,
look,
purple.
it's your favorite.
Ah, the Porphyrion! Ah.
So the Porphyrion over here
Fear!
is Vian's absolute favorite knight.
And take note, these
Like
are
he
the same
dreams
color
about it
scheme.
at night.
What?
This is the same color scheme as my existing 40k scale knights,
Yeah,
and you'll
they're House
probably see
Raven,
it.
right?
No, these ones are Tyrannus.
Oh, House Tyrannus. Oh, did you know that House Tyrannus during the Heresy were actually blue?
Yeah, they were blue, purple, or something like that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. I
And
I
Guilty
same
for
with
wanted
heresy,
Praetor.
Terence.
I wanted to paint them in the I wanted to paint them in the more modern Tyrannus color for a
Yeah.
Which is fair
color
enough.
consistent
Because they
color
started
consistency.
shifting the color scheme during the Heresy anyway. When
Mm,
they were unable to be self-sufficient anymore, so they had to tie themselves to Forge Worlds.
hmm
So they had to change their color scheme. So this is the full family photo. Look at all the
Almost.
BB Knights.
Where's the War
Yeah.
Masters?
Though
And Big
And
they're, they're
coming
Steez.
soon,
they're
it's
still in the
biggest dicks. The Centurion is like trying not to laugh.
Biggest
Ridiculous.
biggest.
Dickus. What's wrong with the name Bigus Dickus?
I will not have
He has
my
a wife, you
friends.
know.
I will not have my friends mocked by the common soldiery.
He has a wife, you know. Incontinentia.
Oh no.
Oh, Bigus Dickus. So yeah, so coming soon for Master Jeff is Biggest Dickus and Master Jeff's two War Masters. So look out for them in future streams.
Mhm.
So this is just a general comparison, size comparison. So that's Vian's favorite knight, the Porphyrion, both in 40k form and in Titanicus form.
Oh,
And you can see that the War Master is actually the size of a Questoris knight in 40k. So like the size ranges are pretty huge.
I actually would be tempted to use a War Master as a knight if you have the right weapons. Put
The
the
base is
weapons
wrong
in.
though. If you
And
magnetize the
yeah,
base,
yeah, magnetize the base, of course. It's model wise, they look like
yeah,
they could.
I honestly wouldn't mind as long as you make it with Seawig and like magnetize the base. I really
Mm.
wouldn't mind.
You'll have to change the guns though to match
Yeah,
the
you have to change
standard
the guns.
with the power of magnets.
power
Yes.
magnets.
The power
Or
of
you just buy
magnets.
a new War Master just to convert it.
Yeah, for
War Master
parts.
Parent Knight. Questoris Knight. War Master.
You can already see
Yeah.
it already has a carapace weapon. See, it has the carapace weapon of a knight already.
Yeah.
Missiles. It's got missiles. It actually has the same aesthetic as a old school epic 40k knight before they came up with
Yeah,
these new.
I've seen those.
It,
Like
it
those
has
were before Vian was born.
yep, and those have this the War Master has the same what's that what they call the brass scorpion bib. It has the same kind of look for in the
Yes.
old knights as well,
Mhm.
All
and same
right.
kind of
So,
shoulders as well.
yeah.
Regale us with more tales of the past, Grandpa.
So, we're moving on to our next showcase, which is my Legios Estabiacs. They are a very niche legio that actually existed in the heresy, and they were the legio defending Prospero when the furries decided to pee on our planet. So there's gonna be like a bunch of Thousand Sons iconography on them because they are loyal to our boy Magnus, who did nothing wrong. They are famous as the legio who did nothing wrong. And until this present day, they have been confirmed as loyal by the Imperium. So these are my
So
warhounds. These are Fluffy Cloud and Small Dog, Vian's best friends.
Hmm. We have to play in not your house, so I have a fighting chance.
That is true. When you try to shoot my doggos in my house,
Mhm. Just
it's
like
like
no,
bringing
fallen
Fallen into my
my
garage.
house. Yep. Just don't do it. Just focus on the
Just
Acastos. Like
don't do it.
whatever. Don't just ignore
Yeah.
the dogs.
Um, as you can see here, I did like large stripes and like divisions, and I actually have stripes over here as well. So yes, I do have both stripes and checkers in my Legio. So and I did the brave choice of painting white and checkers. Yay, checkers!
in addition to
Different
white,
stripes. Yeah.
Stripes.
So I did white checkers. And like holy shit was it painful.
you know the white
And
checkers are supposed to be gray, right? They're not supposed to be pure white.
why didn't you fucking tell me that weeks ago?
You didn't ask.
Why?
I just
I
suddenly
was
saw.
I was suffering.
I just suddenly saw. Wow, that's a lot of checkers. I'll
And
let him
I was
continue.
talking to you while I was doing the checkers. You convinced me to sharpen my pencils with an exacto knife because I didn't have a sharpener. Why
Yeah,
didn't you tell me then?
you
I
you didn't
I
continue
already
the line
sharpened
of
my pencils old school.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. You need to do that to make the checkers. The problem is your white on the checkers is pure white. It's not supposed to
Yes,
be pure white.
it's glorious though. It's beautiful.
You pay for the aesthetic.
Yep, yep.
It's so much pain
You have no one to blame but yourself.
because you can't really paint white over the dark color. Otherwise, you're gonna have to paint it like so many times. So you have to
Hmm.
paint the dark over the white, and if you fuck up, you strip.
Hmm. Yep.
Yep, yep, yep.
God, it took me an hour
What's
to
the
do that knee pad. An
what's the
hour.
main color of the main color in addition to white? Is it like a purple?
Purple.
Yeah, it's a very deep purple.
It's a shiny purple. I was like, hey, Kesh, are these Emperor's children? He was like, how dare you say
How dare you?
It's purple,
yeah, it's like it's purple, white, and gold. Like that's Emperor's
No, no,
children,
no.
right?
It's dark purple. It's not, you know,
pinkish purple.
yeah, it's not Slaneshi purple. We don't do Slanesh thingies in this house. So,
Yeah.
these are my long range jihad options. My my warlord, my long range warlord here on the left, Sina de Lenda Est. Yeah, it's China de Lenda Est. So, is if you can see, I have white stripes over there on the hip because I'm a brave, brave boy. And I actually converted that Mori Quick cannon from that terrain piece from Sixth Ed.
The
And
battle
Battle cannon thing.
the what's this vengeance battery?
yeah, the
Is that the
Vengeance
Yeah,
batteries, yes. And then this is my my Warbringer Nemesis Porta Babylonis. Uh yeah, so it's Gate of Babylon and it's piloted by our boy Princeps
Gilgamesh.
Gilgamesh. Yes. And it also gave Mr. Vian a lot of bad feels.
It did. Like more quick cannon on your knights, okay, and then oops, they're dead. What?
that was not supposed to happen. They were just supposed to be shaken, not dead.
What? Like,
Shaken.
Yeah, they were just
yeah.
supposed to be shaken. What do you mean I
And
killed three?
what do you mean? Cash is like, okay, five sixes, five sixes. Okay, that's devastating, devastating, devastating. Oh, that's one gun, devastating, devastating, devastating. That's another gun, devastating, devastating, devastating. What?
Critical.
Critical? Like, what do you mean you killed three of them?
I was like, what? They're just supposed to be shaken.
Like, Cash. And there's
They
one
got
Michigan, unless you're Cash.
screwed.
Unless you're Cash and you're fighting VN.
Rip. So
I am like cursed
yeah,
dice.
many yabays happened that day. Many yabays happened.
Many advice. For me, not none of them happened for Cash.
Yeah, yeah, no yabays for me.
I know there was one of Yamai when your Porphyrion almost died. Almost.
Yes, my Porphyrion almost died from Ganyu. Yes, the Coco
Almost.
Goat.
The Cuckoo.
Yeah. So this is my
Brawler.
my brawler warlord, and actually use the chains from the Canis Rex transfer sheet, and then yeah, I put the power claw on it. Though in actual practice, there's a Gatling cannon there that I converted from an
At night.
Avenger Gatling cannon from an Imperial Knight, and then two paired Gatling blasters over here on top, which I stole from Reavers. VN's Reaver, actually.
One of
And
them
if you
was from
notice, yes. And notice that all my titans are based on dead Mortis titans because the Legios Stobiacs are famous for totally humiliating the fuck out of Legio Mortis on Prospero. They were like, oh, it's a minor Legio. We're gonna destroy them. No problem. Gets wiped out. Yeah, the Mortis were so curb stomped that they had to call in the Psy Titans. And only then did the Legios Stobiacs fall. Yeah. Yeah, they
Mm.
are like the ultimate chads of the Titanicus. So these are my knights. My color scheme is Arneo, and all of my knights are named after Jesuits. Yes. So this is Mateo Ricci and Aramis.
Where's
And
Father
then
Schmidt,
these
man?
are my two Porphyrions, Vian's favorite knights.
De La Costa.
These are Father de la Costa and Father Schmidt.
Ah,
So what I
very
told
good.
Kesh was I can't beat De La Costa because I'm from So, and De La Costa is my
Yes. So
my
next
home
time I
department
have to
building.
bring Father Schmidt. Yeah.
So we'll see if I can do better against Father Schmidt.
Yeah, we will see if we can beat Father Schmidt. So we're gonna look at Tito Hesed's Legio Astorum. They are from the Forge World of Ryza, and they are still under construction.
They are still in the Forge world.
Yes, they are still in the Forge
The
World.
partner.
So we will be seeing them hopefully next week. Tito Hesed, galaw-galaw. Yeah, we're starting to see the yellow here, and there's gonna be a lot of blue for Legiostorum, and the transfers are included in the box for Legiostorum. So Tito Hesed's not gonna be having any problems.
Speaking of
Now Vians,
transfers,
yes,
if you really want to have transfers, stick to the stuff in the box because it's really a pain to get the transfers out of Games
yes,
Workshop.
yes. Apparently those things were made once and never again. So I see people on Reddit like I've been waiting for the Legio Ataros to come on stock for 2 years.
I just
So no.
I it took a while for my Legio Ignatum transfers to even leave the warehouse.
Yeah. So if you want to do like transfers for Legio, you either print them yourself or stick with the ones in the box.
Hmm.
Or you scavenge from all your other kits.
That
Yeah,
is true. But that's if you're like going for an established Legio. So
Ah, yeah.
yeah. So this is Mr. Vian's Legio Morax, named after our boy Zhong Li from Genshin
Geo
Impact,
Archon,
the Geo Archon. So all the knights are named after characters from Liyue, with
the
all
Titans, not
the
the Knights.
all the titans are named after
Leeway
characters from
characters.
Liyue, while all the small boys are Millilith. They're expendable little shits.
Yep. But hey, man, my Millilith Sergeant survived so much.
I know, right? Like
He was
three
like,
turns of shooting. Holy
it's
shit!
like plus 30% HP.
Tenacity of the Millilith.
Velocity of the Millilith.
how many
Yeah,
knights can fit in a 2,000 point game
A lot. A
if you
lot.
really
I'll
wanted to?
A lot.
you'd have to build the full household list, which we will be discussing next week while Vian is gone.
Mm,
Mm.
Um, so we can actually like tell you what, I'll compute it and I'll show it next week.
all right,
Sound good?
Mm.
sounds
All
good.
right. So
Okay, so I just want to add, if I may,
yes,
so the
please do.
pilots are the Genshin characters, and then their titans are named after their constellations. So we have
Constellations.
Princeps Hutao with the river Papilio Carontis, Princeps Sinyan with the river Fila Ignium, Princeps Chi-Chi with Warhound Pristina Nola. Yaya was an unreleased character, so we don't actually know what her um,
Yes.
constellation is. So that Warhound on the right is unnamed. There's Princeps Ganyu, who is in still blue tack currently. That's why she's not in picture. With the Warlord Sine Unicornis. Then we have Princeps Ningguang, which I left in Davao apparently, with
Yes,
Warlord
you left
Opus
it up.
Equilibrium.
He's
So
And
wondering
he's
where
then
all his friends went.
no, she's
and
she's off
then
on
the
a business deal on a different
yeah, she's
forge
on a
world.
business trip for
Yeah,
the Tiamlay.
for the Tiamlai, for the Tiamlai Leeway, Leeway Harbor.
Yes. And eventually Vian will buy a War Master Titan for Zhongli himself.
Really, for War Master Lapis Day.
So which
Yes.
one do you want? Which one are you planning to get? The stick or the flamey stick?
What?
Are
Like
you taking the
are you going melee or
Um,
shooty War Master?
I feel like Shooty is the gameplay correct choice, but in a way, the Melee is the thematically correct choice because
Why don't you
mm,
replace the chainsword with a giant ass spear?
in nga right, like that's the thematically correct choice, but the no, but also what you call this? the plasma whatever's are like, I will have order. It's just like time to
Yes, that is true.
with the geo hypostasis from the sky.
Well, the grav imploders are also very geo, to be honest.
Oh, actually, yeah, that is true. It's very geo. Oh,
Yeah, yeah. Anyway,
but
you have a while to think about this.
yeah, yeah, I have a long time thinking about it. There's
Yeah,
more
so
pictures
this
of
is
the
Mr.
Millilith Knights.
Millilith
Right.
Sergeant. God, Millilith Sergeant survived so many turns.
He has the tenacity of the Millilith.
Like holy shit. So we'll be talking on episode 3 about the Dominus Maniple. So and Vian's amazing experience with it.
It was legit insane. I was like, wow,
Yeah,
what do you
this
mean
guy
by
was the MVP of Vian's game.
Yep,
Straight up. This one
yep.
small guy
The others
saved like
died.
3 titans.
He saved 3 titans. Just like body block. I got you, coach.
He's like fucking Scott Sterling, man.
Scott Starling.
Sterling!
He took a socket to the face, but he's still fighting.
Scott Sterling!
Scott Starling. Oh god, I have to
Yes.
name him Scott Sterling now.
Yeah,
Make a
up to
new
you,
one.
man. You don't have to.
Make a new one, a second one. Then you swap them
Scott
out in case you want to go in character.
That is
Scott
true.
Sterling the second.
So now we're gonna look at Brian Palma's Legios Gryphonicus and Mortis. He has two. Yeah.
Ooh,
Painted by Renato Ubay. So this is his Legio Gryphonicus, which also has stripes. Yeah, there he's not a coward like Hesed.
yes.
We're gonna call out Hesed all night.
Oh
So
yes.
yeah, Legio Gryphonicus are known as the aggressive Legio, and both sides of his force have identical titans. They are both two warhounds, a reaver, a warbringer nemesis, and a warlord. So that's a full precept maniple. So here's the Mortis, and I've actually like thrown down a challenge to the Mortis via his brother, because like I want revenge for Prospero.
Didn't you already win that fight until the Side Titans came?
Yeah, but the Side Titans came, so we just want to like wreck Mortis more.
Okay, fair.
Yeah, you see, Mortis only fights alongside traitors like the Space Wolves. Yeah, yeah, fucking furries. Sorry, Master Jeff, but we all know you're a stripy heretic, Mr. Iron Hand. Mr. Heretic Iron Hand Spurtorabo,
Hmm.
according to the Black Library books.
Hmm.
God, I hate that so much.
Anyway, here's Sir Freddy's Legio Furians Warlord, painted by Don Stratos. And ooh, yes, the
Ooh,
flames.
flamies.
Flamies. Lots of flamies.
Flame.
Yeah, this is actually one of my two favorite in the book color schemes. The other one is Legio Interfector, also known as the Murder Lords.
Actually, this
Ah, the
color
super,
scheme
the
is
hyper edge lords.
this color scheme has been around for like forever, as in
Yeah,
way,
I've
way, way
seen
back.
epic models with this.
Hmm.
Yeah, so these guys are absolutely cool. They're very classic. Um, and unlike normal titans, which are named with Latin names, these guys all name their titans in Arabic. So their Titan of Legend, that's Warhound Titan, is named like Ibn Farouk.
Oh,
Yeah,
Even,
yeah,
cool.
Ibn
even.
Farouk. So yeah, they actually have Arabic names, which is pretty cool. Like it's a nice change of pace. So I'm looking forward to see the rest of this Legio come out, because I'm assuming he has a Grandmaster edition at least. And that's it for us tonight. So thank you, Master Jeff and Vian, for showing up, and for everyone who shared their pictures of your Titans with us. So for next week, I'd actually like to call for knights. So Mr. Vian, paint more knights.
Fine, I'll try to finish them. Then. They're not
Yes,
actually done.
They're mostly painted na naman.
They're
Like they're
mostly
base
painted.
coated.
They're
Yeah.
base coated. I had lots of plans for lots of detailing and transfers, but
Don't forget to like send me the transfers that you need for your
for
Legio Morax
Genshin.
so that I can, yeah.
Ah, yeah, we'll see. We'll see. That's a pretty far off. And I'm really busy this next week since it's crunching
Yes.
grades time, and that's
Yes.
always
But then you will be
super.
done with the teaching.
But then I have to kick out Yam at the clinic.
That's true. But you no longer have to deal with little shits like Master Jeff, who had to deal with our own personal little shit, Mr. Kinil, who we love.
He wasn't so bad.
Yeah, yeah, it's Kinil.
Yeah,
Do
he
you
was
Yeah.
good.
remember the JC days?
The JC days. Ah, yes. Ah, yes.
Sir Jeff, what score did I get? Let me see.
You failed.
You failed.
Nothing good.
F.
And
Yeah,
I have the photographic evidence of you falling asleep in the middle of the finals.
yeah. Your life sucks where you go to the forge after school to relax and your prof is there checking your papers, just staring at you with like disappointment.
And
You
showing
fail.
people, see this guy? He's from here. Look at him. Look at him sleep on his finals paper.
Right? Here's a picture
No,
of him sleeping in class. Or like when he shows up, what are you doing here? You have a test tomorrow.
you should be studying.
Right?
JC, does
So
Ah,
JC think
yes. Those days,
so
those
that
are the
yeah,
days.
those
when
were
you
the
had
days.
near Unli Coke Zero?
He still
I
probably
miss,
does.
I miss the Coke Zero from the Forge.
It hit
Yeah, we no
different.
longer have a ref.
Hmm.
Anyway, so that's all we have
Yeah,
for tonight. Catch us next week for our continuation with the Imperial Knights. The week after that, we're not gonna have a special because it's freaking Christmas. So we're probably gonna do part 3 on.
January.
Yeah, are you guys free on like a Sunday instead of a Saturday? Because the Sunday is like New Year. No,
Oh,
sorry, the Saturday is New Year.
ah, I'll confirm closer to the date, but
Yeah, yeah. Let me know
mm,
if you guys are free on January too. But we will
that'll
get
Say
to
be
that
when.
when we get to that.
episode 3, yes, with the Dominus Maniple and the
Yes, the Dominus
tenacity of
Manifold.
the Millilith.
Yes. So next week we're gonna be having Imperial Knights friends for Titanicus pa rin. So December is gonna be all Titanicus all the time. So keep tuning in, and I hope you join us in the big robot fights. So that's it for us. So you guys have any parting messages?
Warp missiles and vortex missiles for everybody. If
Ignore that.
everyone has it, it's not cheesy.
If everyone had it, we'd only have one turn games.
That means you get more
Perfect.
games.
Oh,
It's gonna be the same one third game though every time.
yeah, every time.
Depends on deployment.
It's gonna be the slightly different same game every time.
There
But it
are
makes
gonna
it
be
interesting.
there's 6 deployment maps, so there are gonna be 6 variations of games, and it's just gonna be those 6 games over and over again.
Isn't
And
that
who goes
always the
first?
case anyway?
It is not.
Yes, it is.
Vian
Yes, it
always
is.
loses in different ways.
You haven't gotten to 6 games yet.
I got into two,
You only
and then
got
Master
as
Jeff's
far as
gonna.
2.
Master Jeff is gonna make it three with the sacrificial lamb game.
Mhm.
Oh my god.
Mr. Child, do you have any parting words?
I don't know. I'm gonna res 3 days later anyway. Who cares, right?
No, like any parting words for the stream.
Oh wait, I thought you meant for after.
No, 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 not for after your text death.
Well, See, the models are amazing. Okay, I think that's something that we didn't really mention. I think it's something that's been implied a lot, but I
It's
want to
pretty there.
explicitly state the models are so good. Genuinely, like the Imperial Knights. Oh, a random tidbit is if you want to have a very expensive conversion, Imperial Knight legs, the Questoris Knight legs, are the same size as Space Marine legs. So if you want, if you want
Actually,
to,
that was the Aquastoris Knight box is a very good source of bionics for
Mhm.
many conversions, and you can get a lot of mileage out of a single box. If we're
Is it
doing like
box of
arms,
six or box of three?
I
I
think it
forgot.
was
Yeah, it's a
I think
box
it's
of
Box,
three.
box of
box of
three,
three.
but even that three is like you only
A lot
need
of.
one leg for like half a leg for one marine, for example, or you can put a
Mm.
foot and put that and replace a foot of a marine. You
Oh
can
yeah,
get a
that's
lot.
true.
You can get a
You can
lot
you,
out
you,
of
you can
a
you can
single.
really stretch it out. That's true.
Mhm.
Yeah. So that's just
That
something
that
for
was
the.
actually that was during the time of the Iron Hands resurgence.
Yes.
That
But
Mm.
VN
was
is
the
like,
primary purpose for all of the night boxes that have existed during that time.
Kesh does not
When
get to call me a cheeser for playing Iron Hands because I was playing Iron Hands when they were
yeah, he
absolute
believed in
garbage.
Iron Hands before they were cool, so he gets a pass.
I get a pass. I believed in them when scouts were still BS weapon skill 4 plus, and dreadnoughts were getting one shot on third one.
But scouts are garbage again.
Which is really sad. But they had an awesome time in seventh
Yeah, they
or
had their day. They had
early.
their day.
They had a day, which I'm glad I was able to experience that. And now apparently dreadnoughts are really good again. I'm like, oh my god.
Okay, Redemptor Dreadnoughts are present in almost every Space Marine list unless it's Ravenwing.
Mm.
because they don't
But yeah,
fly.
just dreadnoughts are good again. What year is it?
You
It's
know,
like what? It's my day.
you were just ahead of your time, man. Ahead of
I
your
just ahead of my
time.
time. It's like me Vian with this like what 15 dreadnoughts. I was like, I'm just that's just ahead of my time. I was
It's
preparing
called.
for this day.
You were preparing for this day by
Preparing
buying
for this day.
every second-hand dreadnought in existence.
I bought
She
most of
did.
it. I
Hmm.
really did. I still have your metal dreadnought here. I fixed it.
There was nothing wrong with it. What do you mean you fixed it?
It was in pieces, Master Jeff. I had to glue it together. And
That's
the
not
waist.
fixing it. That's assembling it.
Oh, fine. I assembled it. I finally assembled
There
it.
you go.
And the waist joint was horrendous. I had to fill
Yeah,
it
yeah.
with glue tack,
Actually, that is the problem with all the metal dreads. You have to
all
like
the
glue
metal
them in.
boys. Mm. I glued it in with blue tack.
Mhm.
And is if you put super glue and blue tack together, it works like putty.
Why would you want to do that?
Because I don't have actual putty.
Gooey,
No, but
Yeah, it's a
gooey,
it's solid.
gooey
buddy.
It's
mess,
solid
Kyle.
now. It's holding a metal dreadnought up for like 3 weeks at this point. It
When it
works.
finally breaks, you're gonna have a gooey mess on your hands, and you're gonna be filled with regrets.
But
And you have a
but today is not
It's
that
not
day.
that day.
Today is not that day. If that day comes, fine.
Remember,
But today is not that day.
make sure you're wearing shoes. You're not wearing slippers when that day does happen,
Oh
because
yeah,
it's gonna
if this
hurt.
guy's out of the house, I'm wearing shoes. Definitely.
Mhm. That thing, when that thing falls on your foot,
Goodbye. It's like time to go to the clinic. Kikotyo. I need to go involuntary kikotyo.
Like, hello, I am here as a customer.
Do I get employee discount?
Anyway, that's all the time we have for tonight,
Yeah.
guys. Thanks for
Join us
coming,
in.
and I'd like to remind everyone to please like and subscribe to all our social media, in particular to Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. And don't forget to catch us next week for our part two, Imperial Night Households. So, good
My
night,
favorite.
everyone, and have a great holiday season.
Bye bye.